I'm Tim.
I'm David.
Hi, I'm Matt.
Hi, I'm
I'm the
Douglas.
other. I'm the other David. I can't be seen right now. I just had
And
surgery.
you're watching
Sorry.
Worth It Fridays.
What
Hey.
the? What the nani?
Welcome to part 2 of our episode. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the first one, or part of season 1, or part 1. As today's video, we're gonna go into season 2 and dive into any topics, major events, and just have fun with how season 2 turned out, essentially, in Cobra Kai. As explained in our first video, Cobra Kai is a really good show to watch, and you should watch it if you haven't watched it already. But if you have watched it, hopefully you can join us along the ride and just see what we have to say about it as well. I'd like to reintroduce everyone. So we have me, Tim. We have David. David Tran. And we're gonna say DT to make sure that we have, because we have two Davids here. So we have the other David. So we're gonna call him DC. We have
Hello,
Matt,
thank you for having me.
Hello.
Yeah.
and we also have Doug here.
Hi.
So thanks guys for coming back again, as this is just a cool thing to talk about.
Thanks for having
Yeah.
us.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks guys for coming. It's always fun discussing about things that we like or don't like at all. But yeah, let's just start talking about Cobra Kai. For those who are watching, just letting you know there are spoilers. So I'm gonna do sirens, noise, disclaimer saying this is spoilers now.
Spoiler disclaimer.
Yes, so if you get mad, well, you've been warned. So that's on us. That's on you now. But anyways, guys, wow, season 2 of Cobra Kai. I would say there's a lot of things going on in season 2 for sure. Definitely like OG cast like Kreese comes back. That was pretty cool to see. As well like
Yes.
love triangles. Everyone loves love triangle situations. And now as well as like this crazy epic fight that happens throughout the whole season too. So yeah, I was just curious, like what are your guys' thoughts on season 2? Like what was your favorite moment that pops in your head?
It's a hard one.
Yeah, it is,
Moment.
right? Yeah, yeah.
Well, obviously the school fight.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
pretty epic. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, that
That's-
was
that's
really
true.
good.
That's true.
The one take.
Yeah. the one
Okay, that's a cop out answer though. Like, should we allow that to be an answer? Like, we're gonna have to talk about that eventually. But outside
Sure.
of that, what's everyone's favorite moment?
I like the date that they had between Johnny and Miguel's mom, and then
Carmen?
Yes.
Ooh, yeah.
and then
In the
Daniel
Mexican
and
place.
his wife was there too, and then it was just so awkward, and they're like such kids, like sitting so. But you know, if we go talk about like how Johnny's so like not PC, when he was talking about the guacamole, and he's like, "Oh yeah, just none of that green stuff," and it's just so like every time, like, "Oh my god, it's gonna offend people," but they're like, "Ah, I like it, keep going." But that was good.
I like the part that night where I wouldn't say it's my favorite scene, but I liked when they were ordering food and Johnny and Daniel were like telling the waitress to write down their orders, but she's like, "Nah, I got it," and she messes up their order anyways. Or was that what you were referring to?
That's the same restaurant
DC.
scene, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah,
Too.
the same-
Yeah,
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 yeah.
It was so funny. It's like kind of like they're like taking a bet, like, yeah, she won't get the order right. There's
Oh
no
my
way.
God.
Yeah, when I was watching that scene, I thought that was like hilarious just because I was just kind of like, I want to see how this will end, right? You know, because they're just picking at each other. And it's like an awkward double date thing too, because you just know the rivalry. So
It's like all the ladies are just like, ooh, this is gonna be like interesting. All the guys are like, get me out of this.
yeah.
right? Yeah, yeah. But in the end, it worked out, right? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they had a good time.
It's a friendly
Yeah, they had a good
banter.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
I
John-
know what my favorite scene is. I think I liked Valley Fest when Cobra Kai did their demonstration. They kind of ambushed Miyagi Do, and they
Yeah.
like Daniel wanted to do the ice chopping thing that he did
Oh,
back
yeah.
in Karate Kid Part 2, but their plans got ruined. And like to be honest, Cobra Kai's their demonstration was way better, way cooler, and they ended up getting Tori and Stingray, which we'll get into later. But like that was why they joined, because of that advertisement. So I think that's my favorite moment.
I felt bad for Daniel. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I wanted to see the ice scene because I never watched the Karate Kid movie, so I lucked out on that scene. But I guess it's incentive for me to go back. Was that in the first Karate Kid movie?
Second.
Oh, it was the second.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that was pretty epic.
I think mine would be, I think when Stingray, a new character in season 2, he springs up an ambush when they're doing that forest game. When Miguel thinks,
Oh yeah.
he wins the game, and he's like, no,
Yeah.
comes out from the ground, is like, not today, grabs it off.
It's
Good
just
old
funny.
Coyote
'Cause-
Creek.
It's just funny because Stingray's so old, and then he's just like with these kids, like he just. And there's that one part at the party when he brought his girlfriend.
Oh,
And
Yeah,
then his
yeah,
girlfriend's like,
yeah.
oh man, I can't wait to meet your friends. All these like young high school kids. It's so stupid.
I like the character of Singer. He's so funny, so random. I like how he called out that scene at the party where Sam and Tori were doing that drinking game, and I think someone was cheering, and then Stingray's like, "Hey, we don't cheer for them." Miyagi does.
Yeah, those are the Miyagi Do's. We don't cheer for them.
Yo, I just respect.
It was his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just respect how loyal he is to Cobra Kai.
It's like a grown-up kid.
Yeah.
Grown up kid, yeah. Yeah.
How do you get into Cobra Kai again?
I think.
Didn't he just sign up? I thought he just went there.
Yeah, I think he just showed up, and then Johnny was like, "What the?"
After the after Valley Fest, he showed up to their dojo. But Johnny and Raymond, he was Raymond at the time. They met at it was like the hardware store when they
Oh
were.
yeah.
Yeah. So that was their first encounter, but then he only signed up after Valley Fest, and Johnny was like, "Sorry, we don't allow parents to sign up."
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it was so funny.
That was funny. Oh. I just realized there's a lot of funny scenes in season 2. With Stingray.
A lot of crying scenes too, or maybe just one. We'll get into that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I wanted to talk about the I think we missed out in season 1, but like the character Dimitri and Hawk. Like in my personal opinion about Hawk the character, I don't feel bad for him. Like, what do you guys think? Do you think it's valid for him to be
Like before his transformation? Or
yeah,
when he
like
was
just
Eli?
who he is.
When
Yeah,
he's Eli,
like
yeah.
how he went from Eli to Hawk. Like, I'm like, that's fair. This guy got bullied for so long. I don't blame him for fighting back.
Oh.
But I don't know. What do you guys think about the character of Hawk? Do you like him? Like, did you like him through the whole season, or do you like, oh, this kid is a jerk?
I don't know. He's kind of iffy for me, when he was like getting picked on, yeah, you felt bad for him because he was called Lip. He had like
Yo,
a scar,
Lip.
a scar, right? And then his whole transformation, being a badass, got a tattoo, an eagle tattoo, but after he became like a jerk, like what Johnny says, an asshole, right? Don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. He's like, you kind of root for him because he's Cobra Kai, but he's like a jerk. You kind of like, I don't know. It's like hard. It's hard. Sometimes.
Yeah.
We saw that in the end of like season 1, right, where it's like the fight, and it was the semi-final fight, right? It was him and
Robbie,
yeah.
with that dirty kick, I think.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Behind-
Kick to
behind
his
the back.
shoulder, right?
Behind the back. Yeah.
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 Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of. There are times you want to root for him. There's times like you hate him. So depends.
Yeah, he was a mixed character.
It just feels like he has to live up to his new transformation. Like he cannot keep any levels of him being Eli. Like has to be Hawk forever now. So now he's just gonna be like a jerk and stuff. And I think that's why he has to live up to it, or else I don't know. It kind of takes away from his character if he doesn't.
Like he's role playing this like new character.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
remember, there's a. Is it this? I think it's this season. It is right when Dimitri made that Yelp review.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
It
Yeah,
was right, like,
that's right.
and then he was coming out and
Oh yeah, the mall. Oh yeah, the mall. Yeah.
yeah, that. But even like he made that Yelp review, right, and then he like calling them out, and he, Dimitri went there that he wanted to join, but then Kreese punched him in the nose. And then, oh man, that was so funny. But then Hawk took it so personal. Freaking it's just a Yelp review. He took
I
it so
know.
personal, and then they get into that fight. But yeah, I don't know. I have kind of like in between with Hawk too. Like you feel bad, but then you also know who he is now. So you're like, oh, I don't know. Yeah,
I
I'm kind of
wouldn't
like
say
Johnny.
I wouldn't say he's my favorite character either. I think I'd have to agree with you guys, but I can see that his character arc is very, very necessary to season two. In episode 5, All In, the cold intro to that is the one where we see him as Eli, and his mom's on the phone, and he's in the kitchen, and he's kind of crying, and his mom's trying to tell the school, like, "Hey, can you tell the kids not to bully my kids about the lip? But if you tell the principal had that like PTA meeting or that meeting in the assembly, and he's like, "Hey, don't pick on anyone with a cleft lip." And there's only one person in the school with that, so obviously that didn't help. And we remember in season 1, Kyler grabs his face and is like, "Oh, that's disgusting! Like, who would want to
Yeah.
kiss that?" Right? So like, you see a little bit more background. So I think I can understand his position, but I don't think I would agree with it. He's not like the most likable character, but like DC was saying earlier about like the the tensions between Hawk and Dimitri, I think they're very, very central to the episode. I mean, sorry, the season. With the Yelp review for Dimitri dropping that Yelp review for Cobra Kai and refusing to take it down for fear of losing his elite status on Yelp. But
Yeah.
from there, they have the fight at the mall. That fight at the mall is where Robbie and Sam steps in to save Dimitri, and then as a result of that, we kind of see what's her face, Moon. She breaks it off with Hawk from there because she sees that he's become the bully. So
Yeah.
season 1, Eli's being bullied by Kyler and his gang, and then now in season 2, Hawk's got his own gang. He's got, and he's bullying. He's tattoo. He's got the tattoo of he's got the tattoo on his back, but he's got the tattattoo of Moon right here too.
Oh yeah.
So when he breaks
that's
off with Moon, he tries to use that as like, this means forever. But she's like, I didn't ask for that, right? And from there, like just the back and forth. From there, he gets enraged. He's like beating on the. He's just training and beating really hard. If you guys remember in the back of the dojo,
Yeah.
and then Kreese comes in and is like, the fight's not over until you say it is, which ultimately leads him to ransacking Miyagi-Do's dojo, destroying everything, stealing the Medal of Honor, and like that causes more. Like everything just piles on from that Yelp review. So that Yelp review is like it's a big point, turning point, because then Daniel, yeah, Daniel goes after Johnny, and then Daniel steals a bunch of students from Cobra Kai, and yeah, Yelp reviews. Who knew, right?
Dude, yeah, Yelp is so important, guys. It's a game-changing
You
experience.
don't want it to affect the rating,
Yeah, that's
especially
right.
if it's business.
Man, I guess it's very stressful to be a good elite Yelp reviewers. That's what I learned from Cobra Kai. It's worth the fight.
He said he didn't want to lose his journalistic integrity. So I don't have Yelp, but apparently it's a thing if you take down your review.
Yeah.
It's interesting to see like how that impacts like Daniel Rousseau and Johnny, how they don't even know like what's happening, and then they're like, and then it's like, oh, Daniel's response to this is like, why is like Miyagi-Do trash, and then it's just all this chaos, and he directly thinks it's Johnny, because Johnny's like, he already has that image of Johnny being like, this like bad, came from Kreese, no good person. So he's like, just goes straight up to Kreese being like, yo, what the heck, man? So Johnny had no idea as well, and he's like, I didn't do any of this. And then there's that drama with the Daniel's cousin or whatever actually going like getting some guys and wrecking his car or
Yeah.
whatever. Holy.
Yep. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Wait, did he burn his car?
Yeah, in
Yeah.
season 1,
Oh,
Louis
season 1.
did. Yeah. Louis and the biker gang.
Oh. Oh, yeah.
Louis.
Just, those were, man.
But I guess that kind of goes into, I guess, my next question. I was wondering, I think this season makes it even more harder to distinguish, good from bad in a black and white kind of way, because we talked about last week how, is easier to distinguish Daniel as the hero and Johnny as the antagonist, at least in the Karate Kid series. But we talked about season 1, it kind of flipped the script in that way too. So now we're not really sure who's the good guy. And where I'm going with this is, early in this season, Daniel says, I want to open up Miyagi-Do again. He says that to Amanda, and Amanda's kind of hesitant. She's like, "Are you sure? Like, it's a lot to balance." And she's referring to, of course, like their dealership, but also their family and their marriage. And then now he wants to run basically a karate camp for the kids every day during the summer. And yeah. So in response, Daniel says, balance is my thing, but as this season progresses, we go through the episodes, we see that balance really isn't his thing. Like he's really struggling with the dealership. He loses his best salesman, Anush. If you guys remember that, like, what do you guys think about that? Because he actually just ghosted on Anush, and Anush was trying to put in an effort, trying to meet with Amanda to try to have some sort of amends after Johnny basically walks into the dealership and assaults him. Right, like he had no reason to really give the LaRussos another chance, but he was loyal. He tried to give him a chance. But Daniel, on the other hand,
blew it.
it's just he blew it. Yeah, what do you guys think? Is Daniel still the good guy? Is he a hypocrite for trying to teach about balance? On that circular wooden thing, but his whole life is falling apart.
I just think they made him more complex, because I think from like the Karate Kid movies, they make Daniel more like kind of a goody good. He doesn't do any mistakes. He's kind of squeaky clean. And then, but the show makes him more complex in that he's not perfect. I think he kind of alludes to it in season 1 where, he has all those dealerships and it's like as if he has a perfect life. And he has a really good life. Like, he has a nice house, everything. But now that he has weaknesses, and I feel like that's like the strength of the show, is that no one's perfect.
Yeah,
Like,
I
they all have
totally
like
agree.
flaws.
Yeah. I don't blame Daniel, to be honest, because he's pretty scarred from Cobra Kai. So I think the fact that Cobra Kai is coming back to the tournament and stuff, and the dojo is like active now, I can kind of see why. It kind of seems like he has like this PTSD where he's like, no, I can't let this happen again, especially with my kid running around. So I can kind of see why he chose Miyagi-Do dojo, because he thought it was the only way to get rid of all the snakes, right, in the valley. So I don't blame the guy, but at the same time, he talks about balance, but it's definitely hard to balance.
Yeah, he definitely set himself up for a disaster, right? When he's like, I gotta bring up Miyagi-Do. Meanwhile, I have all these other things I have to worry about.
Yeah. You're like, oh, okay, bye, auto body business deal. Bye, wife. I gotta save the world I gotta save the valley,
And
But
then,
yeah, like I don't know. Yeah.
Well, even Daniel was on what's it called? He was also on that committee too.
oh,
Yeah.
Like, how many responsibilities does this guy have? That's a lot of stuff,
That's so true.
right? He was on that committee, and then that was season. Was that season 1 or season 2?
That
Season
was
1.
season 1, because that's when Johnny came up to
to bring Cobra Kai
make a
to the
deal.
All Valley tournament.
Yeah.
Right. So he's like on that too, and it's just funny because he's also, the Karate Kid champion, and people know him by that. There's just lots of like identities.
And he worked
Yeah.
hard to get rid of Cobra Kai, so
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess so.
when Daniel and Sam start training, or I guess I should say Daniel and Robbie start training with Sam, and Sam joins and she gets back into karate, they find out about Robbie's living situation because his mom, she came home with that guy, and then she's basically like, "Hey, Robbie, I'm going to Mexico for a bit. There's water in the tap. Help yourself," basically, and she just leaves him. Sam catches wind of that, and she asks her dad to like check up on Robbie. Robbie doesn't even have running water. He doesn't even have electricity because he's a kid and he can't pay the bills. So
That's rough.
the LaRussos take him into their household and let him live there. But before they do that, Amanda's asking Daniel, like, "Hey, have you checked with his parents? Like, he does have parents, like, even though they're not great ones, he still should check with the parents." So Daniel's about to go check with Johnny to see if it's okay, even though the answer is probably not going to be no. He does it because his wife convinced him. Right when he encounters Johnny, Johnny's outside of the convenience store walking with Kreese, and that's the first time in this season that Daniel sees Kreese back in the picture, and that just brings up the whole thing you said about Daniel's PTSD, right? Daniel was kind of coming around to the idea of Cobra Kai being okay after, well, I think after the season 1 All Valley tournament finished. A win's a win. Daniel congratulated him, and he's like, okay. But now with Kreese in the picture, that just
Boom.
that changes things. Right? That changes things for Daniel.
The monster.
Yeah.
The monster came in. Totally, yeah.
The show finds a way to always keep you on edge. It's like there's always like one thing being resolved, and then like 5 other things start like coming up. Like exactly like Daniel start like it's always like Daniel and Johnny always seem close to getting like becoming friends again, and then
Yeah,
something
and
comes in.
Always.
Always.
It's like, this is it.
think
They're
they-
going to be best friends.
I think they need that though. There has to be
Yeah.
some level of tension. That's why I guess if we talk about season 4, I'll say like what. Like I feel like they can't be just best friends. Like it would just be boring. Like they need to have some level of tension.
Forever enemies.
Yeah, or like like kind of friends, but then not really. Also competing against each other.
True. True, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if they became best friends, then you're like, oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I do feel bad for Johnny because he's the one that allowed Kreese to come back. Because I think Kreese shared like some sad backstory, and it kind of made Johnny believe like he is a changed man. He'll definitely help me out, but obviously he has his own intention, and as well as we learn more about Kreese in this season, than in the Karate Kid movie they didn't really talk about Kreese, right? No, like not his background.
He was just the sensei.
He was just the sensei.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you guys think about his backstory in Vietnam War?
For this season?
Is it in this season?
They give a little bit in this season.
Yeah, he was a war veteran.
Yeah.
And they show like
struggling. Yeah.
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 So
Well, he's
what
like
happens
homeless, right?
is
He was
that-
wait.
Go ahead.
He went to like he was a community center, right? Or
Yeah.
he lied about something that he was I forgot what he lied about. And then Johnny found out.
He pretty much lied about like all of his military efforts after the Vietnam War, because when he was training, like when Johnny finally let him back into Cobra Kai and he was kind of training Miguel and Diaz, he started making up stories. He's like, oh yeah, Rwanda was rough. So he was saying that he was in the war in Rwanda back in the like mid 90s or something like that. And I think Miguel catches on to one of his lies because Miguel, he's in school and he studies, social studies or geography or whatever it was, history.
Yeah.
And he's like, that was actually in this country, right? And then that's when he's like, Miguel
fishy.
approaches Johnny later. He's like, hey, are you sure about this guy? He seems a little sketchy. And that triggers Johnny to follow Kreese after work. And he follows him to the center. And, of course, Kreese is like, yeah, sorry, I had some like accommodation issues at the hotel or whatever. So he's saying that he was staying at a hotel. Johnny follows him. Nope, he's at like it looks like some sort of like not a community center, but like a
It's like a shelter.
rehabilitation.
Yeah,
like a
shelter.
Yeah.
Shelter home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he finds out, and he talks to Kreese, finds out that Kreese didn't go to war at all after Vietnam War because there were like psychiatrists or psychiatric screenings that like you have to go through to see if you can re-enlist into the war. And they basically saw that like Kreese was not fit, to say the least, to re-enlist into war because just wouldn't be a good combination. So yeah, that's what he's been doing. Oh, I think he said that one of his friends tried to give him a job, but it felt like a handout, so he didn't want to take the job, and he's just kind of been doing pretty much nothing, like just bumming around for the last 3 decades. So yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Kreese. I have to say he's a pretty cool villain. Like I like how they still kept his evilness. I'm assuming that's how evil he was in the Karate Kid movie. But
Yeah, he
Can
was
you
pretty
still call him a villain right now, though? Like, in light of the show
yeah,
making everything not black and white, and Johnny saying, everyone deserves a second chance. Like, do you guys agree with that? Does everyone, including Kreese, deserve a second chance?
I feel like I definitely, for me, when I was watching it, it was like, yeah, I think Kreese has changed based on his, how he is and responding. But there's always those moments where when no one's noticing Kreese, you can just see that little smirk, and you're like, okay, buddy, kind of things. But that makes the show more interesting, right? Because it's kind of like, oh, not everything. It seems to be. I don't know that thing saying, but
Everything is
yeah,
not as it seems. Yeah.
yeah. There you go. So
maybe
yeah,
redemption in a sense is like complex, or like it takes people a long time, or maybe they never get there. So like with Kreese, like I felt bad for him when they showed when he was like in that, I don't know, what is it, a homeless shelter and stuff. Like you feel bad, but then he's also like not taking advantage of the second chance. Like he's still trying to make Cobra Kai like what he made it back then. And I think that's the tension. I just feel like everyone can be in the same trajectory, or it's just gonna be boring. Like if Kreese is the same as Johnny, and they're like, you know what, we messed up, let's change. And then things get. I don't know. I feel like the dynamic of the show would like change. So like we need Kreese to be a complex villain in a sense.
Yeah.
I would say. I think you need it. Yeah.
I agree.
I think that's what makes the writing in this show pretty good. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I stick to it. I like the writing. I think what they do well is that they kind of shift villains around sometimes. Like this person will be the primary villain, and all of a sudden, if they get a redemptive arc and they become different, then they need to replace that, because there always needs to be a villain, but you don't want the same villains always stuck in the same lanes, because like we want to see character development. We want to see them grow at the same time. We don't want to see like the same static characters always doing the same thing. Mario always chasing Bowser. Like that gets pretty stale pretty quickly. So like without getting into any more like spoilers or anything, and just sticking to our current season 2, like it's they do the villain writing pretty well. So I agree. I think that Kreese is a very dynamic and complex villain, which props to the writing team.
Well, would you consider Tori a villain?
I was just gonna say that.
Me too.
Ooh.
I don't know. I feel like it kind of started off the rivalry with Sam accusing Tori stealing some like her mom's purse, I think.
Did Tori steal though? Did she? I forget.
Oh,
she didn't.
She stole vodka.
Yeah, she stole the vodka.
Yeah, that's why Sam assumed Tori stole her mom's purse.
Yeah. Okay.
I felt like if Sam didn't make the accusation on Tori, I think they would have been better terms.
But her coming in and swooping Miguel too, like I feel like there's no way that they could ever be friends.
Stealing her friend Aisha.
Yeah, stealing Aisha, stealing vodka. She thinks she stole her mom's purse, and then later in the season we see her not steal because they're on a break, but steal Miguel.
The term break always makes me confused. But Yeah, I don't know. That's a good question, Dave. Is Tori the villain? I don't know. She don't know.
I wouldn't say the villain, but she's
No.
definitely an antagonist. Like, and I make the distinction as an antagonist is just someone who is directly opposed to the protagonist, like to the main character. Like they're just in opposition to the main characters. Unless you consider her a
True.
main character. then,
Yeah, unless you're rooting for.
She's hooking up with Miguel. I think she's a good character.
yeah.
Hey, she forced himself on Miguel too. Remember?
It's true. She took advantage.
She took advantage of a vulnerable young man. But she's young too.
Heartbroken.
But she's young, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. Yeah, I agree. She did, jump onto Miguel.
But,
Even when Miguel was asking for her help about that cheesy video thing. That Miguel was thinking.
God, who's the worst?
The octopus pulls the heart back together.
So great.
Yeah. Was that a GIF? Was he making a GIF or
It was a video. It was,
it was just a video? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, what a lovely man. What a cute guy.
What's scary about that, in my opinion, is Miguel made the first move in that he kissed her when they were like at the playground, like looking up at the sky, watching the airplanes. But she kind of orchestrated that whole thing, and she was like you guys said, she really was the one that striked first, and she was puppeteering. She created the circumstances, like she, for lack of a better term, kind of manipulated the situation so that, he was kind of oblivious in it all. He was just kind of like, oh yeah, Sam, this, and every time he'd bring up Sam, she's like, oh, Sam. So they were already not on a good footing. But in my opinion, she kind of was the mastermind and led him to make the first move and made him think that he made the first move. But she was behind it. Come on,
Oh,
let's
yeah.
be real.
Yeah, you're right. She's a great demonstration of strike first, strike hard.
Yeah.
No mercy.
Yeah.
In
But-
love.
but
In love.
But Sam would be doing the same thing, right?
Oh,
Like she's
with Robbie?
canoodling with Robbie
Oh, that's true.
with everything. I don't know. I feel like if they're all doing it, really, and like
Okay.
him living in their house,
Yeah, something was
I
bound.
know,
to
it's
happen.
kind of like, wow, Robbie's living in the house with the girl he likes. That's a nice, that's a nice jump.
they're training together.
They're training together,
Balancing
Yeah.
it.
balancing.
And there's that
That
awkward
was
moment when
really
they were like blowing out the s'mores together and they're like about to kiss. And then Robbie's like, no, we shouldn't. And then Sam was like, well, this is awkward. And they're just both sitting there with their s'mores.
I know they actually called it out. Yeah, this is awkward. Yeah. So I'm curious, guys. Are you team Sam and Miguel or Tori Miguel?
Or Robbie Tori?
No, sorry.
No,
Sorry.
no, no.
Tori Miguel
Sorry.
or Robbie
Spoiler
Sam? Which couple are you like rooting for?
Oh, man. That's a hard one.
Yeah, I'm actually curious. For me, it's Sam and Miguel, just because it started off very naturally and very nice that, they were meant to be together. So
Sam
I
and
kind
Miguel?
of helped them.
Like from season 1?
Yeah, season 1. Like, I was rooting
Oh.
for them. Even though in season 2 they broke up, I'm like, come on. You have to get back together.
Which couple?
Yeah, which couple would you?
I agree with you. I don't have a lot to add. I agree with you. Sam and Miguel.
All right.
For this season, I really like Tori and Miguel. For this season.
Really?
Yeah.
Really now?
Yeah, I actually like Tori Miguel, yeah. I like the
Oh.
Ooh.
I like the bounce back.
The
I like
rebound?
It's
the
rebound, right?
Yeah, the
Is
rebound,
that
yeah.
technically a rebound? It is.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, because it was
is.
like I don't know how long, but I don't know. But I like the fighting. When they were having like the 2v2 thing, the roller skating.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah, when
That was a good
yeah,
one.
that was kind of cool. I like that. But I don't know. I like the power couple. It was kind of the villain power couple.
That's true. They were considered both strongest in Cobra Kai, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, especially during Coyote Creek. They kind of made their own alliance and they took everyone down. And then it was not until the very end when Tori got taken down by, I think it was Hawk, and then it was Hawk and Miguel. But before that, like they show a bunch of scenes where Miguel and Tori, power couple, they're destroying everyone at
Yeah.
Coyote Creek.
Yeah, I'm with Doug. I liked Miguel and Tori, and I think it's because I like drama. I like something different. I love triangle.
It's so
I'm like,
entertaining.
I know it's so entertaining.
It's so entertaining.
Remember like high school? It's like, oh, I want to watch more.
It
Right?
was.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
I
have
actually
to. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say I actually have a soft spot for Tori. Like I don't find her like I
Mean?
don't hate her. And then even when Miguel and Sam kissed Miguel while Miguel was with Tori, like it's not like it's I still like I can understand where Tori's coming from too, because Sam took Miguel kind of like
Took Miguel back.
back.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I feel bad for Robbie.
And now Robbie is
I
like,
also feel bad
what
for
about
Robbie.
me?
This
What
is
about
where
me, Robbie?
this is where I'm gonna have to play a little bit of devil's advocate. I actually like Sam and Robbie as a couple. As awkward and painful as it was, like they're getting together. It felt organic to me. Like yes, they were living together, but they were pretty hesitant to actually get together or do anything. When they first started training, they weren't. I wouldn't say they started off on a bad like foot or anything like that,
No.
but they weren't buddies or anything like that. And there was a few times when like Sam was just like, "Hey, what was the move to our circle dance?" I forgot what the term was. Then he just like, "I don't know." He just kind of just brushes her off. So it wasn't until near the end of this season, I think after the episode when they're training and they're doing the hot and cold training, that's when they share their first kiss, and that's when we see Miguel return the Medal of Honor and all that. But anyways, yeah, I think I sympathize. I feel for Robbie, feel for his loss, his character, him just not having his dad around from the get go. Like Johnny actually, it's this season where Miguel and Hawk find out that Robbie is Johnny's son, because they didn't know that at the beginning. The very first episode here, they were getting yelled at by Johnny for playing dirty and having cheap shots at the end of the All Valley at the last episode of season 1. But yeah, I feel a lot more for Robbie. His mom, it seems to me like she was there for him at some point, like growing up, when like I think that's like implied when in season 1 when Johnny talks to Robbie's mom, and like she's like, "You were never there for them. I was here for him when he like skateboarded, when he built a half pipe and all that stuff." It seems like she kind of regressed or became more of a bad parent after the substance abuse and all of that. But yeah, I think I like Robbie and Sam. I like Sam getting back into karate. I think like for me, Miguel and Tori, the problem with that is Tori. I guess I'm like more diametrically opposed to her, even though I can kind of see her intentions and what she's gone through. I think Sam says something like, just because you were like, I can't remember what she says, something like, if just because you were bullied or just because you have it like unfortunate life, it doesn't give you the right to like lash out and take it out on others. But on the other side, Tori's kind of like, some people have it good, the rest of us have to fight for everything that we have. But I'm like,
Sam's
are
a
your
princess.
actions like are your actions justified though, even though you had like a bad life? That's for me. But I'm curious now for Tim, which couple do you go for? Break the tie, or it's not a tie, but
Break the tie. Oh man.
it's not a tie.
Oh yeah. I guess it's not a tie. It's so hard. Like I like the original like Sam and Miguel couple, but I do like the kind of like the dynamic of Sam and Robbie, just because like it kind of gave Robbie this kind of redemption arc in his own sense, where he was kind of like this more sketchy character, where like he was doing bad stuff with his so-called friends.
The Chris Brown lookalike.
Yeah, the Chris Brown lookalike.
I can't believe Chris Brown was in this show. Like no one even
He basically
didn't even
is.
sing for us.
Oh my god.
And so like when when he started, like when he signed on to to work for the LaRusso the car dealership, I think that was in season 1 too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his original plan being like, oh, I'm gonna like sabotage like the Cobra Kai in a sense and work under like his most hated rival, and then ended up like kind of like learning the ways of kind of like the Miyagi-Do, or just like kind of like the ways of how like LaRusso approaches things. And he felt like, I guess he had a new father figure at that point, so he felt different things and kind of changed throughout season 2, and had kind of had Sam to kind of back that up as well. That was kind of like why I like Sam and Robbie as well.
DT, what
Hmm.
about you? You said you like Sam and Miguel, but now we're talking about, Sam and Robbie versus Tori and Miguel. Which couple do you like?
Between those two,
Yeah.
like by all means, throughout the first season and watching second season, I'm like, nah, I'm still rooting the OG couple. Like, come on, come
okay.
on, bring it back, bring
Neither,
it back.
neither of them.
Like,
Okay.
neither of them. But
Yeah.
if I would have to choose in season 2, I would have to agree with David and Doug. I like the power couple. It's actually no, they're both power couples, right? Robbie and Sam are pretty much the strongest in Miyagi-Do.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Miyagi-Do has like the worst.
I know, but they didn't have a lot of people.
If we're talking power in terms of like strength and fighting, I'd have to still give it to Tori and Miguel, because they seem more experienced. Sam's kind of getting back into it, even though she did karate as a kid. And Robbie's really good in his own right, but I don't know. In my mind, somehow Tori and Sam are just a stronger, like physically stronger couple. I don't know.
Yeah, they're more aggressive.
Yeah.
Aggressive. Yeah.
I think, to be fair, we get more screen time with Sam and Robbie. Like
That's
Actually, yeah.
yeah, right. That's why I'm
it.
more invested in them, because I see more of them.
Because like we see them like making out a bunch in the dojo like room, like while everyone else is training. I think at least like 2 or 3 times, like it shows us them just making out. They're making out in the kitchen, like near the fridge, when
Oh, yeah.
Sam's grandma walks in on them and stuff like that too. So to be fair, we do see more of Sam and Robbie.
So the show already has a bias.
Yeah.
Maybe, yeah.
I wonder how Daniel. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, they make Sam look like she's so innocent, but is she innocent? I don't think she's
no.
like stole Miguel from Tori, and now Tori wants to kill her.
I don't
Literally.
blame her. I have to say, I don't blame her, but she's a little crazy though.
They do make Sam.
How she approached the situation.
Yeah.
They do make her innocent, but I don't think she's that innocent.
No, she's not.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She stole Miguel.
Yeah, she did steal Miguel.
Sam did set her up for like to happen like that, right? And then Tori also set up in the sense of like, hey, Miguel, you can date me to like get back at her. So it's kind of like they already kind of put that chaotic love triangle.
Yeah.
So
for
maybe
Miguel.
Sam's the villain here.
I don't know.
Well,
if
if
I'd
you
go
think
that
about
far.
it. Well, I don't know.
That
It's
Daniel
you.
LaRusso's offspring has become evil.
In my mind, I'm able to justify Sam and Robbie getting together more. It doesn't seem to me, and David, you were saying that, or DC, you were saying that, what was it? Tori kind of, I was saying that Tori kind of puppeteered the whole thing to get Miguel, but I didn't feel like that was the case as much with Sam. Like, I felt like when Robbie was like, hey, we're not going to kiss or anything, she just kind of respected that. She's like, that's cool. Then later, Robbie comes back on his own and he just makes him move. They kiss, and then, Miguel comes in, returns the Medal of Honor. But in my mind, somehow I'm like, okay, I felt like Robbie had more of a choice. He wasn't as manipulated because he wasn't the one that was like heartbroken or anything like that. But I agree. I mean, at the end of the day, they're both of these are kind of like rebound couples for Sam and Miguel. They're kind of rebounding, and I agree with you to some extent. Like, I can't defend Sam through and through, especially at the very end when she's at the party. She's sad. She's drinking a lot, and Robbie's actually trying to take care of her and tell her to stop. And like from that point on, I'm kind of like, oh, sorry, sorry, Sam, I was rooting for you, I was cheering for you, but you kind of messed up, and then you let Robbie take the fall when Daniel's knocking on the door at Johnny's door, and she's like, where's my daughter and stuff like that, and
Oh
from
yeah.
that point on, like when in the hospital at the very end, when Sam's like, this is all my fault, and her parents like, no, no, it's not. Like typical parents, my kids can never do wrong. At that
Right.
point, I'm like, yeah, it was your fault, Sam. I can't defend her anymore at that point, So
Even Daniel's always. Actually, no, I kind of feel bad for Daniel. Just
he does have like a
Yeah.
sense of like self-righteousness to him though, and I think the show displays it
yeah.
pretty good. Like he's always, I'm the right, you're the wrong, and
Yeah.
when he stormed Miyagi-Do, he said like, you make it so easy to remember who's the bad guy and all this, or something like that. I'm just like, whoa, it's not that clear.
True. Yeah. Yeah. But that fight with Johnny and Daniel, when Daniel's trying to get Sam, because Daniel used Find My iPhone to find Sam.
Yeah.
I thought that was a cool fight. I'm like, oh shoot, it's Johnny and Daniel. Here we go in his apartment.
I always love it when they start the fight with just like he just kicks down the door and it's like everything's gonna go down.
Yeah, actually, he just kicked down the door like, yo, where's my daughter?
Where's the landlord?
Okay.
I was like, whoa, buddy.
Was that
I
the same?
understand. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say something about the TV. The TV keeps breaking, right? Like every.
Oh yeah.
That's kind of like the My Cabbages of this show. If you guys watched Avatar, My Cabbages.
My cat.
But-
Cabbages.
But what I was gonna say is like, okay, I understand. I mean, I'm sure all of us, if we were a father to a daughter, we had a daughter, and she didn't come home that night, we would all be like reasonably worried and upset, and we can justify Daniel's knocking down the door, kicking it down to get his daughter, right? Like we can, like that's a father and his daughter. You're not going to get between that relationship. He's coming. But is it hypocritical? Again, I'm going to go back here. Is it hypocritical of Daniel to do that? Storm into the house, get his daughter, when this whole time he's been housing Robbie in his house, keeping Robbie and, not letting, Johnny, well, it's not like he restricted him, but it was against Johnny's wishes. Johnny didn't want Robbie to stay at the LaRussos. So what do you guys think about that?
Having Robbie at like the LaRusso's place, right? Just further imprints into Robbie of how bad of a character Johnny is. Even though Johnny's been trying to like redeem himself with like, with Robbie and kind of make things work maybe with like the wife again, but like, it's like whatever, right? But like he wants to redeem himself in ways, and that's like the reason why he started Cobra Kai in a sense, right? So it's like all these kind of like redeeming things that Johnny wants to try, but then Daniel just like, no, this is like what happened, like just kind of like how Johnny explains the original like movie scenario, but like in his perspective, and it's like, whoa, this is like two different perspectives, but it's the same story in a sense.
Yeah.
Now Robbie's like taking, like he knows which side, because like it's just the bias of being part of the house now.
I will say though, man, my heart in that moment, that morning of the very last episode when Daniel's storming the house and when Robbie takes the fall for Sam, and then Daniel kind of just yells at him, he's like, I knew you were like this, like I knew you'd never be anything more than your father, or like he says, like if you want to be like your life to end up like your father, like that's your choice. And he just kicks him, basically in that moment kicks him out of LaRusso's household. I was gonna say disowned, but I'm like, that was never his child. But that's kind of equivalent, like it has the same effect as like disowning your child, right? He basically disowned Robbie in that moment, and then Robbie, you see like his look on his face, the tears out of his eye, like that moment, I felt it, man. Like I felt that for Robbie. I felt really bad because Robbie really didn't do anything wrong. Like this is where, again, I go back to Sam. Like
it's all Sam.
I was cheering for you up until that party when you just wouldn't take care of yourself, and like Sam was the one who wanted. She didn't want to go to Johnny's necessarily, but she didn't want to go home. So Robbie had to think quick on his feet. Okay, where could I go to take her so that she doesn't get in trouble? But you know, in the end, obviously, we know getting in trouble with her parents, that would have been the better outcome
Oh,
than
totally.
the season
Honesty,
two.
right?
Yeah, than the
Yeah.
season 2 result that we got, like what ended up happening.
And then I think that was the moment too when Robbie was slowly opening up to Johnny as a father, like, "Hey, Dad, can you help me out?" kind of thing. I'm like, "Oh, this is it. This is it. They're gonna bond as father and son."
Here's
But
your
no,
chance.
here comes Daniel with the flying kick at the door.
Illegal kick. They
Illegal
always
kick.
call it
That's
the
what...
illegal kick. Yeah.
Uh,
Otherwise, like, would Robbie have any other place to go, like, to help Sam there?
Chris Brown.
yeah, Chris Brown's house.
Okay.
I don't think so.
They got the eviction notice on their apartment, so I
Yeah.
don't think he would have been able to go back to his mom's apartment.
So he literally had no
Yeah.
choice, essentially.
Yeah, no choice.
Yeah.
Does that take away from, like, you know, we're kind of thinking like Robbie was going to his dad for like maybe to rekindle things, but he's really just reaching out because he had nowhere else to go. Like,
Ooh.
you know, right?
Hmm.
True, but it could be an opportunity for Robbie to open up to him, though. That's the thing. It could be, right?
Could lead
But-
to that.
But at the same time, if it was Robbie's intention, he's like, "Nah, I don't care about Johnny. I just need a place because I want my girl to be happy and not get in trouble with the parents." But
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Robbie's intentions were always good. Like, he always gave chance. That's what I think. He always gave chance, but then it always ends up with him like not going the way he wanted, which is sad because every time there's always hope, I feel like there's always a moment where it's not gonna last forever, kind of thing.
He always gave a chance, huh?
I was just thinking that too. I was like, well, what were you thinking? I want to hear your.
I was just thinking of like the final school fight.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that's when he loses. But if you think about it,
I was thinking when Miyagi-Do kind of poached the Cobra Kai, the new Cobra Kai, so Mitch and Nathaniel, and you know, he's just saying like once a Cobra Kai, always a Cobra Kai. He didn't give those new recruits a chance, even though, you know, we see a lot of times when Mitch, he didn't agree with what Hawk was doing. A lot of the times in that mall scene, that mall chase, the mall fight, Mitch is actually telling Hawk like, okay, I think Dimitri learned his lesson. Let's leave him alone. You see his facial expression the whole time, like he doesn't agree with what they're doing. But anyways, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, he always gives a chance.
well, in that case, he did confess to Sam about it. I think. Did he?
Yeah, at the lockers.
Yeah, the locker. And then Sam was going to reveal something, her dirty little secret, but you know. But I don't know, I just feel bad for him. Okay, like I feel like he never got a lucky strike. There's always,
Now that I think about it, I do feel bad.
right?
Yeah.
Right?
Like everything goes wrong. His mom leaves,
Mhm.
dad leaves, Chris Brown leaves,
Then Daniel leaves.
and then he loses his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Oh my god! And then at the end of the school fight, it's his fault.
It is his fault.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I don't blame the guy though, because he's been losing so long that he's just like, screw it. Just gave in to anger, just kick him off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he hasn't made too many bad mistakes, but the one time he makes a big mistake, he really has to pay for it. Like, I say he hasn't made too many big mistakes. Like his life before, when he was hanging out with Chris Brown and the crew or whatever, we're just gonna keep calling him that because we don't know their names.
Yeah,
But like those weren't great life decisions. But you know, like as a young adult or as a teenager, you're going to make mistakes and you're going to make big mistakes. Like the one time he makes the big mistake, you know, not showing mercy to Miguel on top of that balcony railing, you know, it's his fault. But again, in Tori's defense or anyone else that you might not be feeling as bad for, again, Robbie gets more screen time. We see more of his background. Like we don't see Tori's background or her, like what she's going through, at least not in this season. So
yeah, no.
A little bit of a bias there.
No, you just see her as a crazy girl just using the school intercom, like, I want to get you, bitch. Like, whoa.
Before
what's
we get
funny with
Go
no,
ahead.
keep going. No, I was just saying what's funny with Tori, she's so crazy. And she has like that weapon to attack Sam and
Ooh,
stuff.
that-
You're
that
just
was-
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the
oh my
choker
God.
collar or the
No.
bulldozer
Yeah.
collar?
Yeah.
And it's just like, whoa, now this has got like but the whole thing is like like I feel like the fight is so messed up. Like thinking it from
Before
like
we
a
get into the
parent
fight,
teacher.
I
Okay, keep
wanted
going.
to ask you guys a question.
Okay.
So before we get into the fight, because it's actually leading up to the fight, David or DT, you were saying that at the lockers, Robbie was talking to Sam, and Robbie confessed, like, hey, he was like, yeah, Miguel actually returned the Medal of Honor. Like, I lied, and I lied because I didn't want to lose points with you after after they just kissed, and
He's
they
honest.
kind of began their relationship there, and then all of a sudden, Sam goes, she has an uneasy look on her face. She says, Robbie, and she's about to say something, the bell rings.
Yep.
So before we get into that bell ring and into the fight, what do you guys think that Sam was going to tell Robbie?
I thought it was Miguel.
Like, what about Miguel? Like that they kissed, or that she
I think they kissed.
feelings for him? Oh, okay.
I think it was the kiss because
Kiss.
that was a huge thing that happened, and that's how Tori went crazy, right? She literally
Yeah.
saw from the windowsill, like down the house, and she's like, crystal clear, baby. I see that. I don't know. That's my thoughts. I thought it was about confessing about the kiss, because they talk about how honesty is the best part of the relationship, right? So he confessed. So I feel like that's one of the big things that she is hiding. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
I asked that because I actually thought she might have been ready to break it off, just because she realized, like, hey, I still have a lot of feelings for Miguel, and like, like, I think she does like Robbie, but let's call it what it is. Like, it was a rebound relationship, and she wasn't she wasn't in any state of mind to get into, no one really is, like right after a previous relationship you jump into the next one. So I thought she was about to end it there, or just say, like, it might be better if we don't see each other, or if we're not dating right now. But yeah, I don't know.
But she was drunk, man. You know what they always say? I was drunk. Didn't mean no nothing.
You're more honest when you're drunk, like the real you. But I don't know,
True.
like,
Okay, true.
DC,
Yeah, you do have a valid point.
Doug, Tim, what do you guys think she was gonna say? Like, about the kiss, or she was gonna end it, or say something else?
I'm not even sure. I was excited for the fight.
Okay.
All right, we can go to the fight. We can go to the fight.
We go to the fight.
No, but that's a good question, man. I actually
Yeah.
did not thought of that too. I just thought like the obvious, like, yeah, I kissed Miguel, but still love you, Robbie.
It could have been the combination of the
Maybe.
two. Just like
It could be.
Yeah.
I feel like I don't know how Robbie would respond if she actually confessed to Robbie about kissing Miguel.
I feel like Robbie would have kicked her.
Off the rail?
The illegal kick. Even though there's no rails where they're standing.
So
Just
Sam
drop
could have
her.
been the one that's hospitalized, right?
Yeah, that would have been the end. And you're like, whoa, Robbie is bad news.
Yeah. Yeah, but now I thought the fight was good. Like, it was a long fight, but for me it tells a lot of story, right? There's like that fight with Robbie and Miguel. Obviously they're fighting for, like, the girl they like and stuff. And then there's Tori and Sam, which was epic. And then as well as Dimitri and Hawk too, eh? And
Yeah.
I thought they did it very well. Like, even though it was the longest fight scene, and the whole time I was watching, it's like, these fights are pretty aggressive, but there's no teachers around, and
Stingray's around.
the Stingray's around.
Stingray.
Hey, Stingray's there.
Stingray.
That's
High
so
five
random.
Thai people, like, yeah, we got this.
Yeah.
But the director did it very well, presenting what all this fight led up to, and you can understand why they're fighting, which was pretty awesome. So yeah.
I think the writer might have done too good of a job, because it was so frustrating for me watching that, because, like, there was so much miscommunication going on, and this whole show it thrives on miscommunications, you know,
Yup.
between Johnny and Daniel, as Tim was saying earlier, how like they never see eye to eye. They don't have any idea what's going on with their like the kids in their dojos, like the rivalries and like, you know, what's going on. But specifically in this fight, like we know it started because Tori was upset because she saw the kiss. But at the beginning of the fight, right when, you know, they're all you see Robbie, you see Miguel running, like they're booking it in the hall, they're running to their girls. Robbie gets there first and he's trying to break up the fight. He's trying to stop it. And he's like, guys, like we can talk about this. Like we don't have to fight, right? But I guess where his mistake was, if he did make a mistake, his hand, first of all, his hand was on her on Tori's like chest, basically.
Oh my
But
god,
he-
see, Robbie's bad, man.
Robbie,
It's over. Robbie's bad.
but he was
Robbie.
holding her back because he didn't want Sam and her to get into a fight. But all of a sudden, Miguel gets there, and all he sees is, you know, his, you know, your hands on my girl, and he just goes, "Hey!" as loud as he can, and he just runs and charges Robbie. And then from there, it's hopeless. Like there's no more. Let's talk this out. There's no more moon diplomacy or anything like that. It's
Sorry, Moon.
you know, the cat's out of the bag. Right?
Moon.
They're just fighting what they thought was right. You know.
Yeah.
I just love the fact that all the like the rivals between like kind of like the pairs, so like, you know, Sam,
Mitch and-
Tori, Mitch and the other guy, the two smaller kids.
Nathaniel and Bert.
Daniel and Bert.
The
Nathaniel.
fact that they all
Oh,
had their own
rivals.
fights, that was amazing.
That was really cool how they choreographed.
Yeah.
This
It was a
fight.
good fight
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, it was a really good fight.
It
Yeah.
was such a good fight. Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
the most messed up school fight that no one would ever witness.
Actually, it was like pretty intense. And even I think there was a scene where the teacher's like, "Yeah, it's above my pay grade." It's just like, I'm done.
Well, because the other teacher like got flipped when he tried to break up the fight.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Forgot.
Okay, I guess true. Yeah, if I was a teacher and I see one of my colleagues getting flipped, you're like, yeah, no. But I have to say though. Oh, sorry. Go for it, Doug.
Not you.
No.
No. I have to say, like, through season 1 and 2, the character Dimitri, when he was fighting Hawk in the school fight, I was actually starting to like Dimitri because he learned how to fight back now.
Yeah.
And you know, Hawk, you started to hate him now because you know he stole the Medal of Honor and he's like pulling all these dirty moves and stuff. So my first impression of him was like, oh, this kid's so annoying. He's just complaining every little thing. It has to be his way and stuff, right? But the fact that I saw him fight, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna give him another chance.
It's a
And
good kick.
It was a good kick.
Yeah.
And it felt good that Hawk actually went down.
Actually
for once.
felt good,
Take
yeah.
that. Yeah, I have to say they did really well with Dimitri's character development because I started liking him now, right? And yeah, so it's a good guy.
I agree. If you guys remember when Dimitri first joins Miyagi-Do, he's very neurotic, as Daniel likes to call him, and he's, you know, he says my limbs are unproportionate. I don't have any muscles. When Daniel's like, it's just muscle memory. And he's getting like Daniel like kicks him, and he's like, why didn't you block? And he's just like, ah, and he's getting splinters when he's trying to do the sanding and the wax on, wax off. He complains about painting the fence, and Daniel's like, actually, you got to paint the other side too. There's two sides, right? And one day he comes in with a note from his mom, and Daniel's like, what is this? He's like, it's a note from my mom excusing me from any like extraneous activities. So if you have any
It's like-
like different training exercise, maybe a workbook I could work on to learn to learn karate. Right?
Karate.
So his development from there, and like his kick to Hawk into the trophy case and, you know, shouting, that was really satisfying.
Oh yeah.
But on the flip hand, you know, Hawk, he actually has like a 0 like winning record. Like he's lost every single battle that he's like engaged into this season. Like I don't think he's won anything. Even when at Coyote Creek, when it came down to him and Miguel, he still lost. Miguel won it. He ripped off the Medal of Honor necklace. He took it out. So like in a way, like, yes, it felt good, but it's still kind of mixed because I'm like, oh man, I still kind of feel bad for Hawk. Maybe
Okay,
you
yeah.
might disagree with me. He's pretty clear cut, like the antagonist, and he doesn't really have a lot of good redeemable qualities or actions, but I still felt bad for him. Still felt bad for him. He didn't really he hasn't won anything, and he lost his girlfriend. And he tried to hit on that other girl at the party who turned
Other
out to
girlfriend.
be Moon's new girlfriend, right? So I'm like, Dimitri and
It's-
Hawk, like I didn't think that I'd like them so much as minor characters.
Yeah.
Or not minor characters. They're not minor, but yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. They were the nerds. And then one nerd went rogue.
Yeah.
Yep.
Went
I just feel, yeah, it's true. I do feel bad for him during that. When you're showing that guy, what's his face? What's his name? Is it Penis Breath? Is that his name?
Mitch, right?
Mitch and Chris are the two, like they're the rivals.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Chris is the curly hair guy, right?
Yeah, virgin.
The virgin. Right.
They don't get those names yet in this season, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Well, there's a hint.
No.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, I think it is Virgin in season 1.
Season 1 is like, what is this virgin here? Like,
Wasn't Bert Virgin, like that little kid?
oh wait, actually, Bert was virgin. Never mind.
Yeah.
There's so many funny nicknames. It's hard to keep up
Man, Johnny, how can Johnny get away with that?
Yeah.
because he's Johnny.
Yeah.
He's Cobra Kai. Yeah.
So on the character of Raymond, aka Chubbs, aka Stingray, during that Coyote Creek fight, he comes in late. He's like, sorry, like Google Maps couldn't find Coyote Creek. I got lost or whatever. And then he comes in with his new persona. He has like a new braided beard, and then he calls himself Stingray. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And then he's like, "I'm flipping the script." And they play that cool music, and then it kind of like, because it doesn't work out because they call him Chubbs. Like Johnny's still like, "Yeah, whatever, Chubbs." Do you guys think that Stingray was successful in flipping the script from going from Chubbs to Stingray? He's a fan favorite. People love him.
he flipped the script because he's that weird guy, right? That at the store.
Super weird.
Has that changed?
Okay, well, he's cooler now.
Okay.
He's cooler because he got a girl. Brought his girl to the party.
Yeah.
Won that contest.
He beat up some kids.
Kids.
He high fived Hawk.
Well, he's
Yeah.
being a security, right, for the school. I think that's what he was applying for.
He was
Yeah.
security, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, and
Yeah.
yeah, security's supposed to get hands on a little bit. Yep.
Oh man.
I don't know. I think he did. Like, definitely, he's one of the highlights of the show.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the actor himself, he did it very well. Very well, indeed.
Stingray.
Anyway, that's-
I didn't think that when I first started watching Cobra Kai, I couldn't imagine, like, if you told me that I would be more invested in the kids' arcs and their character developments and their drama more than the OG characters, I would have been like, that's stupid, right? But I think you guys might agree with me. Around episode 6, the one where Johnny has his breakaway episode and he goes with his friends, he meets up with Jimmy, Bobby, and Tommy. Tommy's the sick one that's in the hospital. When they went away and they did their own episode, like when we focus on them, I think that's when I realized, I'm like, man, I want to know what the kids are doing back home, right? Like, it's just like, that's when I realized, I'm like, I'm more invested in these kids' stories. I love Johnny, I love Daniel and all that, but
You weren't
and I love
invested
those
in the
characters.
pastor?
What was that?
You weren't invested in the pastor?
Yeah, the pastor.
The priest.
His story, yeah.
The
his
priest.
story-
Sorry. It was the priest, David. It's the priest.
No,
He's
he
not a
says
priest.
he has to correct.
He's not a priest.
He's a pastor.
Oh yeah, it's not a priest. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was funny, and then they got into a bar fight, and then everyone's just fighting. They didn't care anymore.
Yeah.
That was a good fight scene, though. That was a good fight scene.
Oh man.
Yeah.
But what was it? In the bar fight too, where before they get into the fight, that guy takes a look at Tommy. He's like, man, this is the worst Make-A-Wish Foundation kid I've ever seen. And I'm like, oh man, that's
my
rough, right?
Yo, that's rough. Yeah.
But I was watching that like earlier today just to like recap on all that. And then I'm sure you guys may or may not know Rob Garrison, like the actor that plays Tommy. he did actually pass away in 2019 as well. So I'm like, oh man, I wonder how that actor feels who called him like a Make-A-Wish Foundation. Obviously, it's just acting, it's just a script, but like to be remembered by the public as the guy who called him like a Make-A-Wish Foundation, like that's your legacy on Cobra Kai.
Did he actually pass away with cancer or?
Yeah. I think
Yeah,
he passed
I don't know
away.
if it was cancer, but he passed away shortly after filming that.
Because I think season 3 they made like it was like
Memoriam in
yeah,
memoriam.
more yeah.
Yeah. Oh shoot. Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, it's really sad. His character died, and the actor actually died. So
Yeah.
that was
I
pretty
think
sad.
he was like sick, real sick.
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
He was for real sick. So that
Yeah,
that stuff wasn't in the makeup, eh? It was actually him.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure there's makeup, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny because
Well-
I actually really enjoyed that episode. Just because like it was really cool. They brought more character to kind of like Johnny's development as well.
Yeah.
But it was just really cool to just bring like to make these characters that were kind of involved in Cobra Kai kind of make it kind of like flesh out more. Just being like, hey, here's the rest of Johnny's gang, and they all still respect Johnny, and that was like the kind of the cool thing still. But it's kind of like wow, it's the whole gang back together, and they've all gone their separate ways, and they all want to forget about Cobra Kai except for Johnny. But
Mm-hmm.
No,
And they were like giving. Go ahead.
No. I was just gonna say that it must be really nice for the actors themselves to come back to as a reunion and play their characters again. So that must be nice.
It was a little frustrating for me that Johnny didn't listen to his friends though. All three of them, they were like against, because so they're at the bar and Johnny is telling them that he brought Kreese back to Cobra Kai, and they're all like disagreeing. They're like, no, that's crazy. Why would you do that? And Johnny just kind of brushes it off and is like, everybody deserves a second chance. And then, that was frustrating for me. Like, these are his close friends, or at least from high school. He obviously hasn't been in contact with them for a while, but
True.
it's not nobody. Like, I think if someone's going to speak truth into your life, it's going to be some close friend or someone you've had history with, right? That you should at least consider what they're saying, but he doesn't seem to listen to it much. He's kind of already made up his mind. He's like, yeah, nope, Kreese is in. He's cool.
True. Yeah. That is true.
So the
Where-
kick,
The kid, what?
oh,
the kick, the final kick.
Oh, the final kick. Yeah, back to the school fight. All right. Yeah, I thought that was a good moment there where Johnny's new what's that word? New wording, new saying, showing some honor.
Yeah.
Teaching the new lessons. Is it?
Yeah. He
Yeah.
says, I wasn't taught the difference between mercy and honor, or honor and mercy, or something like that, and
Yeah.
I paid the price.
Yeah, so I kind of felt bad for Miguel because this whole time it just reminds me of the video game of Walking Dead. On the game, if you guys haven't watched that, we do have an episode on that, so you better watch. You can watch
Yes,
that.
watch it, please.
But essentially, the whole character development of Miguel was just based on how Johnny was raising him. Right? You can kind of see how some of the lessons that Johnny was teaching him was hard for Miguel to kind of figure out what context to use those lessons to approach the situation. So, when Miguel, he could counter Robbie for sure, but he showed mercy, and then that was a scary moment for me when he actually flew off, because I'm like, as a medical profession here, I'm like, no, that's the rail, no. So I don't know, that was very impactful, and the way it ends, same thing, it ended pretty dark, just like in season 1. So like, what do you guys thought?
I liked how everyone just stopped after he broke his back.
that was the line.
That was the
I
line.
guess that's the line,
That's the line.
not Tori poking someone with whatever thing that she had.
Yeah, that was pretty scary.
let's stop now."
And it was making like knife sounds. I was like, oh my god.
It's like,
Yeah, I was like,
oh.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy.
That was actually another scary fight that happened.
Yeah.
I was. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, like, it was interesting how Robbie and Miguel got kind of burned for their kind of like their teachings, because I think Robbie was saying like, you don't be the aggressor, right? Like, but I think I don't remember if someone influenced him or if he was like, out of all the fights that he's been in, he's the one that needs to be more aggressive, right? So that's why he took the kick. I don't know. I could be wrong, but I feel like that's kind of like what the mentality of, like, because Miyagi-Do was more so like, like you're being taught karate because of defense, and so, or for defense, and not to be the attacker. And this is like
True,
a move
yep.
where, like, they both could have backed off, but then Robbie was the one that made the kick. But then on the other side, it was Miguel that was being taught, or Johnny being saying, like all these like things about like mercy and honor, and then the one moment he does it, it's like, oh, he gets kind of punished for it. So it's both, like they got burned for being kind of like taught the way that they were taught.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
That's true, yeah. And looking at Robbie's eyes, Cobra Kai it's very dirty. They're so dirty. As Dimitri's on their team, it got Miyagi-Do, then he's getting picked on by Hawk a lot. So in Robbie's perspective, it's like, yo, this has got to stop. And then the dojo got trashed, and Robbie's already angry because of that. And now the school fight is happening. I think he just like had enough, and he just kind of not follow Miyagi-Do way, and just like went for it, kind of thing. So yeah, I agree with you, Tim. Yeah, they got definitely burnt.
I
Sure.
I feel like Miguel got burned a lot more. Obviously, his back got burned a lot more for it. Like for him following the teaching, I don't know if I can see it as much on Robbie's side, to be honest, just because he was taught that karate was just for defense, right? So in that moment, he wasn't defending himself, like kicking off the rail, and I feel like it was just kind of his actions that was born out of pride. Out of that moment, you see his face on the ground. His face is on the ground as like Miguel has him pinned, right? He's like this, and his face he kind of winces, right? And when he realizes that Miguel says sorry, then he lets him go. When Miguel let him go, in my opinion, he could have just let it be right then and there, right? Like, it's over, like, you lost, you just accept it and take the L or whatever. Of course, it's like humiliating, but his pride, he couldn't let it go. So he's like, no, it's not over. I'm going to keep going. Probably because there's a lot of people watching, to be honest, because you can't, you don't want to lose in front of everyone like that. But yeah, I think that Miguel more so got burned for his following his teachings, following Johnny's way of showing mercy sometimes and not fighting dirty. I felt like Robbie, that was a deviation to that was a big step for Robbie, because before that he was a pretty like good kid during his time with Miyagi-Do. He didn't really step out or do anything overly aggressive.
Yeah,
That was
but
a departure.
During the fight, didn't Robbie find out that Miguel kissed? Oh no, sorry, Sam kissed Miguel.
Yeah, at the beginning.
Tori, so I guess that
rage
You're
is
right.
yeah. Forgot about that. That was like big.
I was like, wait a minute, yeah, because knowing Robbie, he's a good guy, right? But I'm like, wait a minute, he probably found out about the kiss, so that's why he went full on rage.
He was defending his honor.
That's right.
That's what he was defending. His
honor.
Maybe that fight would have started anyways, like whether it was with Tori and Sam or Miguel and Robbie. Like if Sam told Robbie in the locker room, being like, hey, things aren't gonna work out, I kissed Miguel, and then that rage probably would have just carried, and then just going straight to Miguel being like, and then the fight begins that way too.
You think so? You guys think Robbie would like on his own would like storm in and like go after Miguel?
I don't know. I would say maybe not.
I don't think so, because it doesn't seem like Robbie to start a fight. He seems really kind.
He could be definitely passive aggressive.
Yeah.
But I don't think he would like.
I don't think he's not Tori.
Yeah.
Nobody's like Tori.
Yeah.
Tori is Tori.
Yeah, he's only defending himself because Miguel's like picked a fight on him. So I don't think
I would agree.
Yeah, I don't think he'll start anything.
No, I don't think so either. So I'm kind of glad that
Tori started it.
Yeah. You guys are. What are you guys saying that if Robbie found out, then he would have attacked Miguel, or he did find out? That's why.
Oh, we were just saying that if the fight didn't start with like between
Tori.
Sam
Tori.
and Tori, like if Tori wasn't the one who initiated it, do you think that because it would have come to light anyways, would Robbie have been the one to start the fight? Would that whole fight would have happened anyway?
Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Now I feel like it's plausible that he would have started it. Did Robbie even go to that school though?
He started
He
it, right?
did,
Yeah,
but
that was his
he
day
dropped
one.
out. Yeah.
Day one. Oh,
That's
shoot.
what I don't understand. Too. He showed up and it's like, all right.
Oh yeah, he went back to school because they were like, yeah, you should go back to school.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
then-
Yeah, and then he got
Because when he
expelled.
on the first day, oh, man, I didn't even realize you're right. Oh, that's
yeah,
terrible.
it's his first day of school.
Yeah, if you remember when he approaches Sam at the locker the very first morning, he actually says, "Excuse me, can you help me find Mrs. Whoever's class? Like I'm trying to find it." He's just flirting with Sam at that point.
Sounds
But
like
why I'm kind of torn 50-50, maybe 60-40 on why I don't think Robbie would have started the fight is when he finds out, because by this time everyone had rushed to the hallways. There's a giant like crowd around Tori and Sam, and Tori's like, "You know what you did? You kissed Miguel." Robbie's right there for that moment. In that moment, in his eyes, his facial expression, he just looks more hurt.
Betrayed.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
looks like betrayed, hurt, but not in the way that he's like turned to rage. I felt like he would have been more like, why, and like want to talk to Sam about it. But before that can even happen, Tori strikes first, and then the whole fight ensues. But it was just that look, really. It was just that look where I think that he wouldn't have just started the fight. I think he'd just, I don't know, cried. I don't know.
It would have been funnier if he cried.
Okay, full disclosure though, I was watching this, I was binging this in December for the
And you
first time just to
cried.
catch up. Yeah, when Miguel went off the rail, my heart stopped. I was not expecting the series to go in that direction. It was generally pretty playful leading up to that. I definitely teared up when I was like, wait, what? He actually got kicked off the rail. And in my mind, I was like, oh man, that'd be crazy if he got kicked off the rail like prior to that, because we see the fight going up the stairs and turning the corner of the rail.
It's definitely foreshadowing, right? Like,
Yeah, like, yeah, I'd say so. Like, you see that railing, then you're like, oh, that they're getting dangerously close to the rail, right?
yeah, like because Tori fell off on one side, so it's like, ooh, dang, that's probably bad.
You're
Then
right.
you
She
realize
fell on the
on the
stairs,
upper
right?
floor,
Yeah,
Yeah,
she fell on the
her
stairs.
fall wasn't as bad, right? But yeah,
No.
you're right. I forgot about that. Tori did fall off the other side.
yeah, so you're like, oh, okay.
It's good
Okay.
foreshadow.
I guess two snakes.
What
come
other
falling
railings
off.
are around here?
Oh no.
Mhm.
But yep, I teared up when I was like, oh man, Miguel. And then when he actually hit that and thud, I was like, no
Yeah.
way.
My jaw dropped. I was like, no way. And then he's like, no. I thought he died.
Oh yeah, he just
I
stayed there, right?
Yeah.
He didn't even move. He just
was like, whoa, is he dead?
and back
was
injuries,
watching-
right?
I was watching on my phone. My first reaction, because I was watching on my phone, I hit the screen just to see how much time was left on the bar. I'm like, no way, they're not gonna leave the season on this just to see how much time was left. And that's pretty much what it was. Like that, there wasn't a lot of time left after that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think the other part that made me choke up a little bit, I'll admit. So after when Miguel's in the hospital, and then Johnny listens to his voicemail because he ignored Miguel's call that morning when Miguel was trying to ask for like girl advice and all that. And then he was like, "Nah, I'm gonna spend time with Robbie." Right. So the one time Johnny does something right and spends time and instead of spending time with Miguel, spends time with Robbie. This is what happens. And just listen to that voicemail when Johnny's looking through the window, he sees Miguel in the hospital, and listen to that voicemail. I was just like, oh man, I felt that.
And then what's Miguel's mom's name?
Carmen.
Carmen. Yeah. And then she was like all sad, like, you before this, you ruined.
Yeah.
And then it's like, I don't want to see you again. I was like, oh no, Johnny had something with her.
I don't blame her. I don't blame
Yeah,
her.
I don't. Yeah, but it's just it
Oh, yeah.
kind of hurts, seeing Johnny.
It's
Like,
frustrating.
yeah,
Yeah, because they definitely try to build up Johnny and Carmen, right? You're
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
neighbors. Oh, okay. But is it weird for a sensei to date your student's mom? I don't know.
Miguel has no idea though. That's the thing. Like he's not around when they're like on their date or when they're like flirting or anything. Like he's not around.
That's true, yeah. But she did give good insight though about how Miguel's transformation. He's like, oh, he used to be this kid that doesn't really fight. He's a nice kid. Now he's just full aggression, fighting, and now look at him. He's in the hospital now.
Yeah.
So,
I like how you said that with her accent a little bit at the beginning.
oh really?
Oh, I thought
I
you
noticed.
did. Maybe not. But
Oh, sorry. Totally unintentional.
I like how
dude.
she calls him Miggy. Like that's her like her
Mickey. Mickey's so cute.
yeah, Miggy.
Yeah, Miggy. Yeah.
I mean, it was cool how like even with Carmen, right, where they like at first like she wasn't. I mean, she didn't even know about Cobra Kai in the sense that like she didn't know that her son was like practicing fighting in a sense. Where the grandma there was like, heck yeah.
Yeah.
I love the grandma. Yeah. So cool. Very supportive, no matter what.
Yeah.
And then it all goes downhill.
Oh yeah. Wait, is that how the episode ended?
No,
It did, right? No, there's that.
Johnny threw his phone.
I can't. Yeah, I
Oh.
can't believe he just chucked his car, his nice Cobra Kai was it a Mustang.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Mustang, I think.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
you know, Johnny is so confident, man. I feel like he's always buying TVs, and he just gets the car and be like, whatever.
I think it was a Challenger, Dodge Challenger.
Oh,
but
sorry.
yeah,
Yes,
close
you're
enough,
right.
though.
Yeah.
And then he threw his phone, and then we saw like Ali like
Ali Mills.
accept his friend request
Yep.
Yeah,
on Facebook.
she sent a friend request. To him.
Yeah, and then that
Yes.
was like the season finale, which was like, oh, is Ali coming back? It's the next
Dang, Howie.
season.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if she comes back. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't know.
I'm glad that I watched all this for the first time in December, and I didn't watch this originally. That would have been so frustrating to have to wait. First of all, 1 year between Cobra Kai season 1 and season 2, and then 2 years between season 2 and 3. So
That's
it's
crazy. I only watched this like around December as well, like season 1, season 2 really quick, and then season 3 was like, hey, January, but oh, by the way, it's coming out even earlier than you expected.
Mhm.
So that was like a nice like, damn, this is what a show.
Agreed.
Agreed.
So, what's the verdict for you guys? Season 2, is it worth your Friday?
Oh.
Ooh. I'll say it's definitely
Yeah,
worth it.
it is. But you need to watch season 1 first.
No, just jump in on season 2.
Just jump season 2.
No,
You didn't miss much season 1.
Yeah, no.
All of season 1 can be explained by the first episode where Kreese comes in.
That's true. Yeah.
They pretty much pick up right where season 1 left off, though, because that
Yeah.
was the cliffhanger
Mhm.
on season 1.
That's true. Yeah. And that fight was pretty good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good fight. Yeah.
I would agree. that it is worth your Fridays. Season 1, season 2, season 3, season 10. I don't know. I love this show.
Cobra
As
Kai
long as they
never
have the same
dies.
writers, yeah. Cobra Kai never dies, exactly. I will keep on striking first the minute that they released it. Actually, I did hit this might be a spoiler into the next season, but I did hit play right at midnight when season 3 dropped. I hit play right away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Holy.
I don't blame you. It ended off with a mega cliffhanger. Yeah.
But we'll have to save season 3 for next time.
Next time.
For another day. I think that's all we have to say about Cobra Kai season 2. There's a lot, and especially with I think everyone probably had the same reaction when it came to the fight or that ending fight with Miguel being kicked off the rail. I think no matter how many times I would probably watch that scene, I'd be like, oh my gosh, it's happening.
Yeah.
I'm so stressed out. But yeah, we'd probably love to hear what you guys' like couples are. Who do you like more? Sam, Miguel, Tori, Rob. Wait.
Wait.
Whoa. Oh shoot.
Whoa. Is this like some bonus feature deleted scene you watched, Tim? Like, what is going on?
I know nothing about that.
Yeah, I don't know anything.
Next week.
Yeah. Anyways, put in your comments of like who you think your favorite couple is, and we just wanna see what you guys think of the show as well, and how you guys reacted to certain things. I think everyone's favorite moment is the fight scene itself. I just remember I saw a post that our friend Sam, saying, because he is a teacher, in real life teacher, so he's, something like this would never happen, or I forgot what the post was. It just that was a good laugh. It's just like, dang, that fight was the most over dramatic, but so good. It's such a clever fight, and so anything.
It would have been funny to see Sam get into a fight. That is
Sam would be Stingray.
Or Sam, like our friend Sam, or the character Sam?
yeah.
Our friend Sam.
Ooh, that'd be a fun.
If
fight.
you guys don't know who Sam is, Sam was part of our episode of Division 2. So if you're curious what he looks like, definitely watch that episode as well.
Just imagine him getting hit by a girl.
Sam versus Sam.
Sam versus
Yes.
Sam. Cool.
Who's the real Sam?
Who's dating who?
But anyways, definitely, if you enjoy this video and you want more of it, definitely subscribe to us. They'll definitely help us as a channel, and as a way for you to show us that we're doing something that you guys really enjoy. As well, if you want to be one of the first people to know exactly when we upload it, you can definitely click that notification bar. And as well, we do have a Facebook page where you can definitely watch our videos too on Facebook. And as well, we have an Instagram page. We kind of give you a post of what our teaser of the episode that's going to come out the coming weeks of Friday. And as well, we'll be most likely sending more videos either Thursday and Friday. So yeah, I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, DC. And thank you, Tim. And I guess thank you for myself. I'm just kidding. For joining our episode. It's really awesome to have us sharing our thoughts about Cobra Kai Season 2. And it's also a nice get together during this time of COVID. So I just want to say thank you guys so much. We really appreciate you. And to you viewers for committing for this episode here. Definitely like what Tim says, definitely comment. But then we'll see you next time. Take care, guys. Bye.
Thanks for having us. Bye.
Yeah.
Quiet.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, welcome back to. Actually, I don't even know how to start this thing.
Hi, it's Tim.